Okay. Well, welcome everyone. We are in July. Can you believe it? Half a year like that. Just like that. Well, wonderful, or as always, to see you. And yeah, I really look forward to these forums because I get inspired. This is feeds me and fuels me. So again, welcome to everyone, no matter where you are. We've got people all around the world as always. So welcome. Yay. I think, as always, we might just start with anyone that would like to share any breakthroughs or successes or lessons or learnings or anything you feel like you'd like to get off your chest, or anything you feel like you'd like to share where you think other people could benefit, or, if you've done something, that's been a bit of a breakthrough for you, and you feel like you need a big virtual hug, then I'd love to hear. Anyone want to share anything? Just put your hand up or start chatting, or can't hear you, Sheree. Are you talking? No, I thought you were saying something.
I can start if you like.
Thank you, Annie. I can always count on you to get the ball rolling.
Listen, everyone needs to join Toastmasters. I can tell you. Okay, well, remember last time I was on, God knows how long ago that was.
Oh, I can't.
I know. I was planning a live feed to chat to people live, and I was really hesitating, and I kept blocking myself. I finally did it, and it was soon after the last time, and I was so looking forward to coming next time to tell you all about it, but that never happened. And the thing I was most worried about was that nobody would turn up, but 5 people did turn up.
Yay. That's a start.
And I knew all of them, obviously. And one person bought a book, so that was really good. Got to know her a lot better. And it was really fantastic. I read an excerpt out of my book. It's the first time I've ever done that. And they got a fantastic response from the people. So I think I'll continue doing that whenever I get an opportunity. And then, so I did that. This morning I had a radio interview, which was great. And on the 24th of July, I did a year and a half ago, I was invited to do a blog for the cancer care parcel people in the UK. And sorry, people don't know, my book's called The Strength Within, and it's about, I'm a 3 times cancer survivor. And anyway, they contacted me through LinkedIn, but these other people have found that blog, which was a year and a half ago, and they've invited me to be part of their international webcast, which is going to go all over the world. And I've got a half an hour spot.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's happening on the 24th of July. And see, that's from something a year and a half ago that someone found me. It is a young cancer group. It's a group who are young survivors of cancer, under 30. And yes, I'm going to be part of that, which is going to be absolutely amazing. So even if you've done something a long time ago and nothing's come of it, obviously something does come of it eventually.
And even if you break your arm, there's no barriers, is there, Annie, to still keep it moving forward?
No, and people keep asking.
I love you, Annie, because you're just, everyone's sitting here making excuses. You're just taking all their excuses away. Doesn't that make you feel really horrible when you're listening to Annie, who's broken her arm, she's a 3 times cancer survivor, all this sort of stuff, and she's still getting all these things. So sorry, everyone else. It feels guilty for not doing enough. Thanks, Annie. That's awesome.
No worries.
Okay, so yeah, I did. I just completed 2 weeks of young writer camp that we sponsored through the St. Louis Writers Guild for young writers. And I was pretty nervous because I have very high expectations, and that imposter thing always comes in. I mean, who am I to do this? And yet I know I have the credentials. I know I've done it before. I've been in the classroom. I wrote the book, for heaven's sakes, for some of the workshops I do. But really what was wonderful was the kids were amazing. They taught me a lot. I got through both camps, and I was the camp director for 2 weeks, got a bunch of different authors to come in and join us. People like Ridley Pearson and Michelle Mason, Meredith Tate, some very, they're just current best-selling authors. So it was so fun to see that collection of people, and almost all of them did it at no charge. So that really was a lot of fun. And like I said, I was nervous, but I always remembered, we talked about when I first started this group, focus, clarity of focus. What are you doing? And so, yeah, that really helped a lot. So I got through that, and now I'm doing workshops for a book that I published in February. Each time I send out a letter, I get a response, and I've been booking more and more workshops. And my method is working really well. So again, it gives me the strength when I see other people out there putting themselves out there. We're all nervous about that. It's not easy to share your work and put yourself out there. I've done it hundreds of times. I've spoken in front of thousands of people, and yet I still worry each time I do it. And I was more nervous about the kids than anything. So this group has been wonderful. It helps a lot to know that no matter where you go, what you do, you're always a little bit worried about who you are and how you're perceived, I guess, by other people.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
awesome, Sherry. Well done. So you mentioned your method works. What is your method? So I'm sure there are people listening going, well, what's your method? How do you get these workshops every time you send out a letter?
Well, I know how to write a sales letter because I have 30 years in marketing experience. So I wrote a sales letter for myself. I wrote a book on how to beta test a manuscript. So if any of you are in that area where you've got a draft, it's such an amazing tool that is overlooked and not used in the writing community. Underdeveloped writing is the #1 reason that books are rejected and sell poorly. If you've ever picked up a book and you've been dissatisfied, it's underdeveloped. And also that's what happens when people submit or go to a publisher. So they don't know how to beta test. I did it automatically because for 30 years with companies like Anheuser-Busch, Ralston Purina, we beta tested every product that ever came out on the market. It was mandatory. So I finished my first novel and went to do it and didn't find any information in the writing community. And what I found was very, very like a puzzle trying to put it together. So I put it together and I wrote a book, and it's available. But any of you that want information about that, let me know. I'd be glad to talk about it, reach out, help with that.
Awesome. That's wonderful, Sherry. Thank you. I'm sure there'll be people sitting here going, yay, I need to talk to you. So you can message Sherry while you're sitting here. But thank you for sharing. Well done. That's awesome. It's so good. Who else would like to share? Anyone got stuff to share or questions to ask or challenges they're facing that this incredible group can help them with?
I'd like to share just that a friend and I, a colleague, we write comedy skits. I'm working on a memoir as well, but we do comedy skits, and we wrote one. We've had 5 put up on YouTube so far. Our channel is called Suddenly Skits, and it's just to bring a bit of silliness and laughter. So I met with her yesterday and we wrote one. I started, this one was in my head, and I wrote out a real rough draft. And when she came yesterday, we nailed the script like just within a day. And I've never done that within a day. I mean, it's very short. It only goes for a couple of minutes, but still to write it and complete it and work on it. And I find that's a great outlet.
What do you think, Paula, what do you think you're able to do it in a day? Because I know we've spoken a lot, and one of your barriers, like most people, is you spend too much time in your head, doubting yourself. So what was it that allowed you to just get that done in a day?
Look, I think it was, she and I met, her name's Nikki, we meet like once every 2 weeks, and I knew she was coming, and I thought I generally write the script and she does the editing. She's very good at editing and she refines the script. So I knew she was coming, so I sort of set that goal. I need to show her something. So I just started it's called Millie and Tilly, this particular one, where we're 2 Cockneys, and we act it. And I just knew she was coming, and I thought I need to show her something because I'd been procrastinating for like over a couple of months. And so just setting that goal that like she'll be there on that day. I set the date. I'm going to have a skeleton script to show her, and then we'll refine it together. And so we set aside the time. I showed her the script. We talked it through and rehearsed it, and then we just kept refining it. And we got up and acted a bit out, and we added more to it. There'll be a bit of improvisation in the script, but it was just getting that energy. And I think once you started, it was, I don't know, we got into the flow, and it was quite good. And getting up, sometimes when you're writing anything, I've heard this with other authors, they get up and walk around and talk their stuff sometimes, where for example, another writer, I haven't even heard of this, what she does, she gets her manuscript and she somehow puts it on audio, like maybe 500 words of it. And then when she goes for a walk, she listens to it like an audio to see. And then, yeah, so it's just little techniques, I think. But yesterday it was just, I knew she was coming. I needed the script written. And because it was short, that made it easy, like knowing I'm not going to sit there for 20,000 words. It was just, 2 pages of typing. Yeah.
Awesome, Paula, that's wonderful. You raised some really valuable points there. And I think the first one is set a goal, get a deadline. Yeah. And I think we can be setting deadlines if you're not doing this. Set deadlines for every aspect of your writing, or every aspect of your connecting, or every aspect of your reaching out. Set goals, simple daily goals, like what Paula did. I'm going to be, you said setting a goal for 20,000 words is intimidating, so set a goal for 500 words and continue to do that. And I think that's really powerful. So deadline. Then the other thing you said was get started. I mean, what's the hardest step is always the first step, right? So the first step is where you got to stop thinking and just take it. I think there's some really powerful stuff. So, can you put that link, that YouTube link in the chat?
Oh,
well, I'm sure there are people that would love to watch you. And if you feel like doing a bit of Cockney accent for us now, we'd love to hear it.
Well, if you like, I think I would just talk a little bit like that, because I really, who I really like to watch, the skits written by Peter Cook and Dudley Moore. I really like them. They're just quite funny. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, love.
It's good. So
I'm with you. In fact, I think we should all talk like this from now on. What do you think?
Oh no!
On my phone. So I'm going to see if I can put it in the chat. It's called Suddenly Skits, but I'll write it in the chat.
Hang on.
I hope it works, because I don't know. Can you do it on the mobile phone?
Let me find it. So it's called what's it called? Suddenly Skits.
Suddenly, SUDDENLY, Skits, SKITS. And it's just YouTube, and we've got 5 videos up, and they're all different. So hopefully check them out, have a laugh, and you can subscribe. Like we maybe do one a month.
Yep. Awesome.
Can you see? Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Have you put it in the chat? Did you, Andrew?
Yeah, I will now.
Thank you, because I'm on the phone with one hand holding it. I need to sit it on the stand.
There you go. The link's in the chat.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well done, Paula. That's wonderful. Hopefully we got some little gems out of that. Anyone else got anything they would like to share? Hello, Kat.
Hello. So I've been keeping my writing habit going, but I was finding that my 10 minutes was getting smaller and smaller, just because by the time I would shift from work projects to writing, I was feeling kind of just tired. And so while I was keeping the habit going, I wasn't feeling great about my output, because I just knew most of my energy and creativity was not there. And I was having a hard time context shifting away from a work day and into my writing day. And I learned this little technique that takes less than a minute. And I want to exclude Paul because his will be so beautiful, but I would allow him to play still. But it's a really fun little 1-minute technique that requires you to draw but I am not an artist. So when I say requires you to draw, you don't have to be Paul. And all you have to do is draw a square. And I recommend you draw the square in a pen. And if you want, we could do it, Andrew, but we don't have to. But you just draw us. Let's do it. So if you have a paper.
Paper? Hang on,
Yeah,
let's make
it's
sure
just,
everyone's ready.
it's scrap. Paul, you're allowed to play. I just, maybe yours is
Paul
so.
can play. Let Paul play.
Paul can play. Just understand that like the baseline is 0, not Paul. So just draw a square, and then inside your square with your pen, just draw like a random squiggle, just draw a squiggle. So then you can keep with your pen, or you can shift to pen, you can take a pencil, whatever you want. Your goal is to now turn your squiggle, so that's mine, into something. Like turn it into something. So you just look at it, and then you just
squiggle.
Oh, your squiggle can be anything. I'm just showing you what my squiggle looks
But
like.
everyone remembers Mr. Squiggle, the man from the moon, don't they?
No, sorry.
Oh, so you're too young, Kat. There was a show on TV called Mr. Squiggle. Who remembers Mr. Squiggle? All the oldies. He had a pencil for a nose, and he'd come down from the moon, and someone would send in a squiggle exactly like that, and he'd, yes, Miss Jane, yes.
Turn it into something. Well, there you go. So we're playing Mr. Squiggle apparently. But yeah, so then you just turn. If you need to up the challenge for yourself, you do you. But I have enough challenge just holding a pencil and turning a squiggle into a drawing. So then, yeah, it's not like necessarily a time thing, but it's like a minute or whatever. And you just turn it into something.
An artist I am not.
Nor I. But mine has become a dangerous little situation for it.
Mine's become a weird looking.
So that was today's.
Weird looking dude with really funny lips.
Nice.
Mine's a shoe. Now,
A shoe.
can you see it? I don't know.
Sure, we can't see yours because of your virtual background. No, Annie, you.
I'm sure you're on mute.
Covering it.
Your hand's covering your shoe, Annie.
Oh yeah, nice shoe, Annie.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, nice.
Felicia,
Hey,
back yours
it's
up a
nice
little.
shoe
It's a
if
little
you've got
fuzzy.
no toes.
No, it's not going. I don't know what's going on with yours, Felicia.
I think
Oh, your
I
blurred
have
background
mine
might be
screen.
killing it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it off. Mine was supposed to be a pair of glasses,
Nice, Paula.
but
Where
they
is it,
didn't come
Felicia?
out too well.
Come on, let's have a look.
I'm not
Marilyn,
a
is
drawer.
yours is it a firefighter's hat? What's yours? Sorry, I can't
What
tell.
is it, Felicia?
Like here's Felicia. Glasses.
Mine's a snail.
Very clear. Oh, look at Marilyn's.
That's a snail.
Oh,
In case you didn't know.
Lisa's got a
Well, with all due respect, I'm glad you're all such good writers.
All right, Paul,
Can
put
I
us all to
ask-
shame.
Can I ask, what is the goal of doing the exercise again?
For me, it's just making my brain think differently for a minute. It's giving me a nice context shift because like I've been writing for 9 hours straight on a work project trying to translate government requirements into engineering spec. And then I stop that and I go, oh, I need to write my book. And I just sit here like this. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So just giving myself a little mini creative outlet that just does not matter and just lets me create, it just lets me shift for a minute. And it's just, it puts a hard end on one thing before a start. It doesn't, there's no, no goal. Like it's not,
it's just
I'm not like,
fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I do it on scrap paper. It's just, and
It's
it takes
It's
1
lovely.
minute. So like, it's not like, oh, I have to add anything in. So, but I would do want to see Paul's
Come on, Paul.
if
Look,
he's willing to share.
I don't know if you can see that. It's very simple. It became a vase.
Lovely. Very nice.
Flowers.
Awesome, mate.
And I think
I love it.
the key, and I'm sketchnoting, and I'll make some notes around this activity, because I think this is a gem of an activity, just to, as you say, change your mindset, just think differently, think creatively. And for most of us, we then chuck it out, and that's good. It's served its purpose. It takes 1 minute. You don't have to do anything with it. Piff it in the back, in the door at the back, but it's done what you needed it to do. It just shifts your thinking it for a moment, and then you get on with it. So I think it's an awesome activity. Well done. Thanks, Kat.
That is good too. And I think there's lots.
I didn't, yeah.
Sorry, Kat, finish up.
Oh, I was going to say, I just read it about it, but it's just, and it was really, I think, more designed for artists, but because I'm not a visual artist, like, and I suffer from perfectionism, like having something like this that I can just throw away and it doesn't matter, and just like a tiny extra minute. But every time I've done it and then sat down and like with my draft open, it's just like it just feels easier. It's just easier to get back to it. So
That's awesome.
anyway, wanted to share.
That's great. Thank you for sharing, Kat. And I
Love-
think you can do that with a lot of other things as well. You know, if you're really embarrassed about your squiggles, you know, go for a walk or listen to a song, or just get up out of your chair and go for a walk, eat some food, drink some water, play with your dog, whatever. I think anything that can break that stress cycle, get out of it, get totally out of it, then come back, you'll find, have a cold shower, I don't know, whatever works for you. But that's great. And I think we all will value from that. So thanks, Kat. Wonderful. Charlotta, do you want to share something?
Yeah, thanks for that. It was a great little exercise. A couple of things. The first thing is that I write a monthly newsletter, and you know, we've learned all this thing about the structure of it, and we have to come to this, you know, 4 or 5 takeaways and all that kind of thing. And this time I thought, nah, I just really want to write about what I'm thinking about, which was all about, I was inspired by Val Plumwood and the whole notion of our dominant thinking being masculinity, and how much that's led to the climate crisis and what we're missing out as a result. And I didn't really have it right. So I just thought, I just wrote, and I called it a musing. And it's really interesting because the writing itself became the feminine, and I hadn't thought of that in that way. And I've had so much feedback from that. People said, I've read that 3 times because I really didn't get it. And then I started to get it, and it was really, so I just thought that was a really interesting experience, sort of going away from the traditional model. And then that leads me to the next thing, which is kind of a question for you all, because I had a publisher and then that kind of fell through. And I rang Andrew and said, what do I do now? And he said, you just keep going, you just keep going, dust yourself off. So I've been sending out lots of, you know, contacting lots of publishers. And then I had one from last year just contact me yesterday and said, do you still want me to look at your manuscript? And I said, yeah. And then she rang me later, or she said, you know, can we have a chat about this? So she said, let's do a little meeting. So we did a meeting at 6 o'clock last night. And she said, I love your concept. I love it. Is fresh. It is different. I love it. But here's my feedback for you, for me to put it to the next level. And what she then said was all about how it had to be the journey for the reader. So I should probably say that my book is called Dear Body, The Well Within, and it's all about mindfulness of the body, but in a deeper level. And I started probably 5 years ago writing a book really about mindful eating, Dear Body, in relation to food and the body. And then I shifted into really just Dear Body, looking at the cost of the disconnect and the benefits of the connection. So it's now very structured and tight. And she said, oh, well, where's the reader in this? You know, you're not taking the reader on the journey. And I thought, yeah, I had this, and that was all about the reader and a workshop in effect in a book. And then I went to the other, which is much more, here it is, these are the costs, these are the benefits. And and I just thought how much, you know, I think her points are absolutely valid in this book. On the other hand, I'm also sitting with, but I also think this book has a place for some people. So I don't know, I'm sitting with this, how much do we, you know, take on and it becomes a different book again? How much do we go, no, this is a book. And she also said it's too high end. It's kind of more for professionals. It's rather than the teenager or anyone without a tertiary education. Yeah, so that's what I'm kind of sitting with. Okay, do I now change it again, or do I go with this still? I don't know.
Well, I think, Charlotte, first thing is congratulations. I hope you celebrated.
Well, I was very grateful that she bothered, that, you know.
Well, I mean, she's interested. If she wouldn't have had a meeting with you if she wasn't interested in your message and your book and your style and everything you do. So first and foremost, celebrate. Yeah. Before you worry about anything else, just go, yay, I'm a winner. And because I spoke to Charlotte, she had a publishing contract sorted and it was all ready to go and rock and roll and with a good publisher, and then all of a sudden they pulled the pin on her, which is devastating. Like, that's hard to pick yourself up from, but you did. So again, well done. I just wanted to say that because I think often, you know, we get feedback and all of a sudden we focus on the feedback. Oh, I've got to, rather than going, well, hang on, the feedback wouldn't have come if they weren't interested in your book. So I think it's incredibly important to be able to give yourself credit for creating something that you had a publisher contract and now that fell through, but that again doesn't take anything away from the fact that they were interested. Now you've got another one and they're suggesting some things which I'll open it up to the forum to give you some ideas. But Charlotte, well done is what I want to say to you.
Thank you.
Okay, I want to open it up and see if anyone's got any feedback or comments for Charlotte in terms of what they think she should do.
I'm going to put it in the chat if I can remember that I'm on a PC and not a Mac and use the right shortcut. I have not used these guys. This is the group called 1 Million Women, and they have guest blog, like an open invitation for a guest blog. I do know that. Yeah, so what I would wonder is if you could do something like, if you took your book and you tried to turn it into assume the book was published as it stands and you had to write a blog for someone like these guys about it and explaining it. And you also then have to write a pitch to the blog site to get it. If you did that, it might be a way of you attacking your content from a different angle and thinking about, like, can you explain your book and the key, like some key highlights of your book in a blog format, because blog format is inherently, look, I love a blog. So when I say lower brow, I don't mean like, I'm not bagging it at all. I'm just saying that it's more conversational and it's naturally easier to just be a bit more chill about it. So if you can write a blog for an organization like that, and you didn't even have to submit it, but if you could do that and see it, and if you're struggling, then maybe that would answer some of the questions for yourself. Like I've shared this before. One of the things I find for myself when I'm stuck when I'm writing is I actually use the word comments feature, and I just make up like a highlight something and I make a comment and I start talking to myself about like, what do I need to say and why am I stuck? What's tripping me up? And if I can just talk in a different way, it often resolves the problem for me. But since you already have such a finished piece, I'm wondering if writing another like finished piece, but in a different format would help you analyze it like from a different angle. I don't know if that makes sense.
Thanks, Kat. Anyone
Yeah.
else?
Hey, Andrew.
Ideas?
Yeah, I think that what I've been working with Cherie on kind of is a similar problem. That, you know, I had a manuscript that was 90,000 words and 250 pages, and Cherie's like, well, you've got to put this into 3 or 4 books because 4th and 5th graders are not going to read one big thing like that. So, you know, breaking it down into separate things and putting a different voice in it being a sixth grader, it's been really interesting, and I think I mean, I think it's making progress and probably much more appropriate. Well, definitely much more appropriate. So it's not easy, but it might be a way to get people who aren't. I think what you're the person is looking at how can we get the biggest audience? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, I guess. How can we get the biggest audiences? Because yours is at a very high level, and you've got to dumb it down, I guess is the best way I can think about it. So it kind of is, I'm not dumbing down my story, and you're not really dumbing it down, but it's just trying to broaden the perspective, I guess. So
That's great advice, Peggy. Thank you for sharing. Marilyn.
Can I just say, because is there then a book like, if I think of Thich Nhat Hanh, or I think of Jack Cornfield, I think someone like that, I think that is probably not for, that's not dumbed down. Is there room for a book? Because I feel very passionate about the need for a book in the mindfulness space that really goes deep with the body stuff. And there isn't one that I know of. It's still from a utilitarian perspective rather than appreciative perspective. So is there a place for that, or does it have to be a self-help journey? Yeah, I don't know.
Can you make it fun? Is there a way to make it fun?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, it certainly has humor. It has lots of good stories. So I think it's just that she feels that it does like, people will come to it with, I have high anxiety, and you have to read the book to get it. You can't, it doesn't take you through. That was her main thing, I think.
Marilyn, I think Marilyn wanted to say something then, Sheree.
Charlotte, congratulations. You obviously had a real passion when you wrote it, and a reason to write it. So in your mind, you had a market that you were writing it for, probably. Or did you just have a broad picture? So if she's saying to you, this is a textbook, basically, at a level there, comes back to your original vision of why you wanted to write it, who you wanted that message for. And if you wanted it across the broad market, then yes, there's got to be something for them to invest that time into reading it, as well as your message. So you're really at a point where Charlotte's got to decide what message you were wanting to convey. Or have you got two books? Is there a textbook up the top there for people working in that area? And is there a broader market book? Difficult. Difficult.
No, I think I was thinking the same thing. Sheree, thanks, Marilyn. That's great.
Thank you.
Sheree, you're on mute.
You're on mute.
There's a market for every product. And I think that she hit the nail on the head. You need to understand who your ideal reader is. And the best way to get feedback and the fastest way to know whether your writing is marketable is to beta test your product. Get out there and give it to the people that you think will benefit, and find out if they understand the message that you're sending. That's what's important, because sometimes we write a message or we think we're saying the right things, but the average person or even the above average isn't getting it, and we need to make it clearer. It's not a matter of dumbing it down. It's just a matter of clarifying your message and making sure that the people that you're marketing to will understand that. So find yourself some beta readers, ask the right questions, and get the feedback that you need in order to make this product what you want it to be, as well as what your readers expect. And that's the beauty of creating a product that's been beta tested. It meets both those criteria, both the creators and the ones that are appreciating what you've created. And then you'll know.
Can I ask? Oh, sorry. Also, have you finished? I was just going to ask, what is it you're wanting your audience to know, or your readers to know? And what is your central inquiry?
So I suppose, even the conversation yesterday, it highlighted that in my first book, it was all about taking the reader on the journey. In this one, on a program in a way. In this one, it's been about what I think is missing and what I think is so important to get out there. To be honest, that's what it's about.
And what is missing? What's important to get out there? What is it in a nutshell you want them to know?
Right. That is that, we've now been flooded with mindfulness stuff, but because we come from a thinking perspective in this world, and it's been hijacked by psychologists in particular, but also just by our dominant way of thinking, is that we think mindfulness as thinkfulness, and it's not. It starts with the body. And when we don't understand that, and when we don't cultivate that, we miss out on the ultimate fruits that mindfulness might bring.
Is there a way you could do it in a conversation with somebody, like to get scenes into your writing? I mean, are there scenes in the book?
Yeah, there's lots of stories, and so lots of illustrations. What the editor was saying was that she thought that, because what I've done is I've taken all the lots of different examples of disconnect from the body, what it costs us, and what are the benefits when we do connect, but they're not structured for a reader, so that you have to, if you suffer from anxiety and you go in there, you'd have to sort of go through and go, oh yeah, I do that. So it's not structured for the leader's problem, if you like. It's more going, can you see that this is the cost? If you do that, these are the costs and these are the benefits. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. I think Charlotte, we probably need to have a chat about it. But that gives you some stuff to think about anyway.
Thank you, everybody, for engaging with it.
It's an exciting look. It's a good place to be. I mean, I remember when I was trying to get Dancing to It Rains published, and that was an incredible journey of self-growth, that's for sure. And I remember when I finally found a publisher, and they said to me, "You need to rewrite this," and it was incredibly challenging. But I'm so glad that I did. It's better, way better now than it was when I submitted it. So it's worth just thinking about it, because at the end of the day, you want it published, you want it out there, you want your message out there. And why not have two books? Why not have one that's more of a journey, where even more story based than the one that you currently got, which is more maybe targeted for professionals? And why not have two? Anyway, some stuff to consider. Well done. Hello, anyone else want to? Clem, good to see you, Clem. Love to hear from you.
Hi, everyone. Look, Charlotte, I was just thinking through what you were saying. And in many ways, I had the same dilemma. I had discussed this with Andrew, because my book was primarily written for my kids and family to know, their ancestry, their journey through me and my parents, etc. And I had a dilemma because I also wanted to acknowledge so many people in the book. And I said, you can't go into management and leadership positions without the support of people who take you there. So the journey was always, these are management and leadership qualities, this is what you do, etc. But I wanted to show the background, the back history of leadership and management, which also included, the excellent work your executive assistants do to make you who you are. And it wasn't really going very well. And I had to really fundamentally say to myself, why did I write the book? And honestly, I wrote it for my family. So I said, and Andrew and I had this discussion, I said, I am going to publish as is. And I'm glad I did that. So, the audience will not be too big. I mean, at the moment, it's just 50 have been sold, but that is good enough for me. I thought it would be just 5, the family, or 6. But the point I'm making it is there's always a second story. So I think there are 2 layers depending on yourself. One layer is, why are you writing it? And I wrote it for my family. Primarily, that was it. And I would never have been happy if I had compromised the book for the public. I would never have been happy. Now I got that sense of happiness But then it comes the next level. Okay, what are the messages and how can we carry them across to others? And I think that's the stage where I'm at now. And that could be now doing what publishers require and want. And I'm happy to do that. But I think it comes down to primarily, what do you want? And then exactly what I think was said by Sherry or otherwise, what does the audience need? So it's what do you want and what does the audience need? And you've got to marry those two, whether it's 1 book, 2 books, or 4 books. In my case, it was like, why don't you have 4 books? So be it. But the 1 book is it. That's the one I wanted. The rest is all, messaging for others. So I don't know whether that helps, but that was my journey. And that's why the book is called Dare to Be Different, Dare to Be You, because I am me. I didn't want it for everyone at the beginning. So I wanted to be me, and that's what I expressed. Great, thanks.
Thanks, Glenn, for sharing. Wonderful. We're doing
Can I
good.
say something?
Hello, Mandy. Yes, please.
Hi. I don't know anybody, I don't think, in this group. Maybe Paula I've come across. Marilyn. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Good. I've had a 10-year relationship with Andrew. I just worked out. I did a course with Andrew 10 years ago, and then I stopped the journey and then resumed about 4 years later, and ended up writing a book and having it published and going through all sorts of pain and stress and joys along the way, and I'm still here, so I'm still here. I'm trying to work it out. I kind of like what you're talking about, Charlotte. Is that how you?
Charlotte.
Charlotte. I've only written the 1 book, but and I'm wondering whether you're very academic in your orientation, and I'm, because I wrote a book with a memoir, and it was about my son's experience with drug addiction. So it was and my why originally just was just to basically help him by writing the story, so, and help myself. So it was really just for him. So it was an audience, a market of 1 or 2. And but as I started writing, I realised there was a much broader audience that could benefit from the experience, and that's what it's turned out to be. But I'm very formal in the way I write, and I like to reference material, and I like, quite academic. So I can kind of relate to that. You mentioned that about yourself. And I think that what I consciously did as I was going through was I wanted people to read it. I wanted mothers to read it, and I wanted addicts to read it, and I wanted fathers. And I thought, if it's too academic, they're not going to read it. But at the same time, I wanted professionals to read it too, and just sort of know, this is what it's really like on the other side. So I swore a lot. Because this vacillates between swearing and then highfalutin language. I don't think I dumbed it down at any point, but I certainly, was really conscious of using simple language and not, cutting out the big words and really trying to make it incredibly helpful. It's a communications tool, and therefore it has to be palatable and readable and digestible by people. Yeah. So that was my thoughts on your journey. On the publishing side of things, I got a publisher in New Zealand who only distributed in New Zealand. So I've had this very small market that I haven't been able to expand out of. But the plus was that extremely good editor. So somebody who could just take my lengthy prose and really, sort of challenge me. I think was really good. It's just made it a much more easily readable. But the publishing side, I don't know. It's just people have talked about courage and self-sabotage and imposter syndrome. And I think I probably typify all of those things. So I started off with this absolute rush of publication and sold 500 copies in a month and got interviewed here, there and everywhere. And then it sort of, I had all these great ambitions and it just sort of flitted away. And I thought, have I lost my chance to sort of take it to other markets? I don't believe I have, and I still want to get there. But gosh, what a extraordinary sort of self investigation in the process. I'm trying to work out, you just stay on point with it all, stay on track. Anyway, that's my little ramble. Nice to meet you all.
Thanks, Mandy. Thank you for sharing. Sheree, did you want to say something? No. Okay. Anyone else got anything? We've got 10 minutes to go. Anyone else got anything that they want to bring up or ask, or questions or challenges or struggles or? Let's look forward. Rosanna, can't hear you. You're on mute. You look like you've got something to say, or?
Hello, everyone. I'm sorry, I thought I was a couple of minutes late, but it seems I might have been later. I got the time a lot wrong. Sorry, everybody. I just realised. I thought, yeah, okay, it makes sense. We were just so into it so quick. Anyway, my apologies, everyone. Just got the time wrong. I'm in another state, so I've just completely stuffed that up. Sorry. Oh.
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh.
Okay, well, good, Clem, it's got something to say. I'm just having a bit of a pregnant pause here. Clem, you're on.
Sorry, I just thought I'd share something. On the anniversary of the year, the day I join any company, I sort of take a self-reflection. And that's happened now for almost 34 years of my working career, etc., right through different countries. And I've always done that. And so last 2 weeks ago, a fortnight ago, I said to myself, let me review where I'm at with my business. And I sort of looked at it from a different perspective. The same perspective I've done for the last 34 years. And I said, am I an asset to my own organization? Is the company an asset to me? And the next question was, am I a liability to this organization? And is the organization a liability to me? And I realized that for the last 8 years, I've been doing some great work in consulting and lecturing, etc. But suddenly the buzz went away. And when that buzz goes and your liabilities, personal liabilities go over assets, you say to yourself, so what's next? And, when Charlotte was talking about it, Charlotte, all I can say is with me, I said to myself, okay, the passion for what you did is waning. It's not gone, it's waning. What next? And so for me, the next stage is actually sending out the messages of the book. So basically, that's all it is. Now, nothing, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how I'm going to go about it, but the excitement of trying to do it is more important. And obviously, I'll be chatting with Andrew again. I always do when in strife, but I think what is most important is always repositioning and thinking, what am I doing? What is the baggage I have around? And what is next? And so it's been exciting now, the journey. It's only been a fortnight. And when in strife, I think that the best comes out of me. So hopefully it'll come out. I just thought I'd share that for everyone.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thanks, Clem. And I think, I think it always, whenever you've got decisions that are tough decisions, I think it will always come back to that question, what's your vision? What are you trying to create? I think you always come back to, okay, so Charlotta, with the decision you've got to make, the question is, here's my vision. This is what I want to, the impact I want to have on the world. This is the outcomes I want for my own life. Which option will get me there? Yeah, as a first step. I mean, it doesn't mean you do one or the other. It means, there might be the option for both. But I think always, always, always you want to come back to what do I want? What's important? What's my vision? Why is it important? And then when you're, again, with clarity, when you have clarity, you'll make the decisions are a lot easier. Trust me. When you really know what's important to you and what you want to look like, you'll come back to this decision and you go, well, it's almost gut, it's almost intuitive. It's dear body going, hey, dear, this is the way you need to go. Let your body and that gut feeling tell you the direction you need to go. So, but again, get that clarity. And that applies to every one of us. When we feel stuck or when we feel, well, we're not moving the way we want to move or the direction, or we're not making great decisions, or we're procrastinating or whatever, come back to your why, come back to your vision, look at it. And if it doesn't move you emotionally, then it's not the right vision. Change it. Get something that's a strong enough drive that will pull you towards it. And I think for me, this all started for me when I was, right at the very beginning, when I was in debt. I was working ridiculous hours, and I thought to myself, this is not how I want to live. How do I want to live? It was that vision that I created back 20 years ago that moved me to write my first book. And that's just become stronger ever since. So it's almost like your true north. It'll just keep you, get you on the right path, making the right decisions, getting rid of the wrong things, or, reprioritizing. I know that's all very general and ethereal, but, there's power in having clarity of where you're heading. And when you know where and why, you'll find decisions a lot easier. So I think we can end this now. You guys, as always, it's been incredible. I love this month. It's just sort of gone the way it went. There was nothing else planned. Like some months we have, people plan to speak, or we've got someone that published a book or whatever. But this month it's just done what it's meant to do. So it's been awesome. Now, the next forum, some of you may have seen, I posted on the Facebook page that Dr. Anne, who, this amazing lady that I've been working with for a few years, she's 80 years old. She's been a doctor for over 50 years. She's just published her first book called When I Am a Doctor. She's got a pretty amazing story. And on the on the Saturday, the 7th of August, or if you're in the US, on the Friday night, the 6th of August, we're going to do an online launch. And I know she's terrified. She's 80 years old. I mean, she knows nothing about Facebook. I tried to show her how to set up. She's got like 3 Facebook accounts. She doesn't know how she got them or what to do with them. So I set up an event for her yesterday. And so it would be awesome if you're available. So that's 4 weeks from today. It'd be awesome to join that, and that would be a wonderful support for her. But I'll send you the link for that in the email that goes out after this. And the next one will be the following week. Yeah, Marilyn, did you want to say something?
I saw that, Andrew, on the message you sent out yesterday. I thought it was fantastic. I will definitely be there.
Oh, good on you.
I thought it was just great. Good on her and you for facilitating it. Fabulous.
Well, she's a wonderful lady. She's gone through a lot in her lifetime. And to be a doctor, back in the 60s when women weren't doctors, and all the stuff she had to deal with from that point of view, and she had to deal with a lot of challenges with parents who actually used her for their financial security. They very much orchestrated her career and her life for their own self-serving. So it's an interesting, very interesting story. So I think you'll, yeah, I know you'll enjoy hearing from her. She's very quirky. She's very eccentric. She's a beautiful, beautiful lady. So anyway, thank you all for your contribution. Thank you all for being here. I'm very grateful for all of you. I'll follow this up and send out the recording and everything now, and look forward to seeing you in August. Have a wonderful month, and I'll see a lot of you in the meantime. But if you need me, please reach out. Charlotte, Clem, if you need me, I'm here, as you know. So look forward to chatting to you all soon. Have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful month of July.
Thank you. Thanks, Andrew. Bye, everybody.
See ya.